What's up, everybody? Taking a break from the music for a minute here, and I'm going to try and explain how I record things. I've had a lot of people ask me this over the past year or so, and I try to do my best of explaining an email, but it's hard to do that. So I figure visual pictures are worth 1,000 words, and hopefully this will help a little bit more. So it's gonna be like a three-part kind of series, I guess. First one's gonna be hardware, like the microphone, preamp, and explain how all that stuff works, and then I'll explain how I mix everything, and then I'll explain how I make the video. So first up is microphones. All right, so I use condenser mics. Condenser mics are just, to put it simple, very sensitive. So they can pick up sounds from all around the room. Obviously, the closer you get to the front of the mic, it's gonna pick it up better. They need power. So this one is called a Sterling Audio S. I believe it's an ST77 or something like that. It was given to me as a gift. It's like a mid-level mic. It's probably about $500 from Guitar Center, and the mic sits inside of a shock mount, and the shock mount is pretty much what the name says. It's a mount for the microphone, and it attaches to the mic stand, and it's supposed to help alleviate any vibrations that come and travel up the mic stand to the mic. I think you need it just because there's no other way to mount the mic. I don't really have any problems with vibrations. This thing is a pop filter. It's for filtering out explosive bursts of air. So if I say the word, if I say the word pop, I say it into the mic. If I say it into the mic through the pop filter, no problem. If I take the pop filter away and I say pop, you hear that burst of air. So that's what this guy's supposed to stop. Do you need one? I don't know. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. A lot of time when I'm singing, if I know I'm going to say a letter or a consonant that's going to create that sound, I just kind of move away from the front of the mic. The other mic that I use is it's called a Rode NT1000. It's an older mic. It's the same kind of mic. It's a condenser mic. You can see it's old by the rust on the front of it, but it's still holding up. It works. Still works well. I don't think you need a really high-end mic or even a mid-level mic, especially to do YouTube videos. I've heard these $100 condenser mics, and they sound just fine. They sound great. It's just a matter of the preamp, I think, is the more important thing, and that's what we'll talk about next. All right, so this is a preamp. This is a necessity, especially for a condenser mic. This will give power to the mic and let you adjust how sensitive you want the mic to actually be. I use something called a PreSonus. Let's see, where's that? There you go. It's a PreSonus. That's the brand. And it's a studio channel. The reason they call it a studio channel is because it has three things built in. It has a tube preamplifier, it has a compressor, and it has a parametric equalizer. So, how does that work with a mic? Well, I'm actually holding I plugged the Rode mic in. So at the bottom of the mic, the cable plugs in. The cable travels wherever you want it to travel and goes into the back of your preamp. Your preamp's going to have an input somewhere on either the front or the back of it, and it'll be labeled. You plug your cable, other end of your mic cable, into there, and then on the back of your preamp, there will also be an output cable, and that cable will then plug into whatever's sending the signal to your computer itself. One final thing to note on the preamp is the gain setting. Okay, the gain is how you adjust the volume of the mic. So if I want the mic to be more sensitive, I can turn it up. You can hear how much louder it gets when I turn it up. Or if I want to turn it down, obviously turn it down. But that adjusts the loudness and sensitivity and power of the mic. Okay, so interfaces. So an audio interface, I think, is probably, aside from the mic, it's probably the most important thing. It gives you the most bang for your buck. This is basically a sound card. You know, if you ever build a computer specifically for recording home recording stuff, skip out on the sound card and just do yourself a favor and buy one of these. It's cheap. This was $89, and it becomes a fantastic sound card. And if you're doing it on a budget, which is exactly how I started out, it also has a preamp built into it. So this knob right here on mine, that knob is a preamp. You can see the gain. So I don't really need this guy, but I can tell you from experience that you can have a good mic with a bad preamp or an average preamp, and that mic will not sound very good. You can have a very average mic with a good preamp, and that average mic will sound great. So I think the preamp is very important, the quality of the preamp. So if you're going to not skimp out on something, don't skimp out on the preamp. From my preamp, on my output of my preamp, this cable travels all the way to the input on my preamp. So you can see it says unbalanced inputs, okay? And that's pretty much it. The preamp itself, or the audio interface itself, has a firewire cable, and it's that firewire cable plugs into a firewire port on my computer. So that's how the signal gets to my computer. And then from that, on my computer, I have the software, which I like to use Ableton Live. They all work. They all do the same thing. But I like to use Ableton Live because I'm used to, you can see it's actually recording right now while I'm talking. In the next series, I'll get to how Ableton works, and I'll give more of a generic explanation of how recording works in software. And then we'll talk about putting it into a video. So just to recap real quick, you have your mic on a shock mount. That mic has a cable. The cable plugs into a preamp on the back of the preamp, right? Or the front, depending on the model. And then you have an output on your preamp, and that output plugs into an audio interface. And the audio interface then has a cable that plugs into your computer. And then the computer has some software on it to listen for the incoming signal. So that's pretty much it. There's nothing, there's not a whole lot to it. This whole setup right here, without the computer, the mic, the preamp, the interface, the mic stand, etc., probably about $800, somewhere around there. But that was, it's put together over the years. All right, so next up will be audio mixing in Ableton Live. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope it helped.